Suppose we have a sum that has the following equations: 2x1, 3x2 minus x3 equal to 15, 4x2, 2x3 equals 16, 3x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 18. Now what you notice here is that in the second equation x1 is missing, and in the third equation x3 is missing. And from the definition of simultaneous equations, okay, these unknowns appear in all the equations. So what to do if x1 is missing in the second equation and x3 is missing in the third equation? So we simply rewrite the equation in the following manner, where since x1 is missing in the second equation, we simply write 0 multiplied x1. And since x3 is missing in the third equation, we write 0 multiplied x3. Then you proceed and write the equations in the form of a matrix. And these are nothing but the coefficients of x1. This is the coefficient of x2. And these values here are the coefficient of x3. Then you write in matrix form. So we have to find x1, x2, x3. And so we follow, first of all, the first step is to find the determinant of A. Okay, so let us use the elements of the first row to find the determinant of A. Okay, these are nothing but the minors of 2. Okay, the elements left out after deleting the first row and first column. Then these elements over here are nothing but the minors of 3 formed after deleting the second row, the second column, the first row, and so on. The usual way of finding a matrix. So what you find is that determinant is equal to 22. Now the second step, okay, where suppose you have to find first the value of x1, and x1 can be found by using this formula, and you know that your vector of constants is equal to this much. So what you do is simply substitute the value of these constants, which means you substitute the coefficients. Okay, if you remember, the coefficients of x was these values over here, 2, 0, 3. You simply substitute these values over here. Okay, remember the coefficients of x2, x3 will remain the same. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Then you simply, because it means you have to find the determinant of this matrix that has been formed by substituting the coefficients of x1. So what you get is x1 equal to 4. Next you find x2, and x2 is formed by substituting the coefficients of x2 with the constants from B. So you substitute these values over here. Coefficients of x1 and x3 will remain the same. Okay, and what we get is this. Okay, so x2 is equal to 3. Then the last value is x3, and you simply substitute the value of the coefficients of x3 with these constant values. Okay, x1, x2 coefficients remain the same, and what you get is this x3 equal to the determinant of this matrix, this newly formed matrix, divided by the matrix of A, okay, which is 22, and what you get is x3 equal to 2.